Hey guys, it's Angela here. I teach iOS, Python, web development and mobile development on Udemy. And today I'm going to be taking over Udemy's Instagram stories. So I'm going to be answering the questions that you guys posted earlier this week, and we're also going to be baking some cinnamon buns. So once you're ready, let's get started. All right, so you asked what's the best programming language? And I think that really depends on what it is you want to do. If you want to make websites, then you probably should learn JavaScript. If you want to make iOS apps, you should probably learn Swift. Now, if you're thinking in terms of what is a beginner-friendly language, I would recommend start with something like Python or JavaScript. Those are some of the most popular languages that programmers use, and you can't go wrong. Do I think coding is easy? No, I think coding is actually really hard. It's a really difficult skill to master. And the reason is, it's not like other things that you learn. It's not something that you can just memorize. It's actually the skill to think logically. And if you're not used to that, then it can be extremely hard. But at the same time, it's one of the most worthwhile skills to learn, especially in this era where we're constantly interacting with computers. Instead of being just the consumer, you can become the creator by learning how to code. And that's why it's really worth learning, even though it's hard. My favorite programming language is probably somewhere between Swift and Python. Swift because it's just a really well-designed language. It feels really modern. And Python because it's really versatile. It can be used to literally do anything and make any project. That's why I like those two languages the most. So you say you can't focus. Well, it is one of the hardest things to master, your attention. But the things that really don't help are things like a phone that's constantly ringing or notifications on your computer. So one of the things that I do when I'm doing a highly creative task or something that requires a sustained period of attention, like programming, is I actually try to put myself into a black box, if you will. I will put my phone into airplane mode, I'll switch off all the notifications, work somewhere where people can't get hold of me, and then for a sustained period of time, say 2 hours or 3 hours, I just work on the task at hand. See if that helps. When I first started learning to code, I thought I was never going to become a programmer. I just thought it was too hard and you had to be a genius or something to get good at it. But now that I've taught programming for so many years, I've realized what the problem is. When you can't figure out a solution, when you can't get your code to work, it makes us feel incredibly stupid. But the thing to realize is that we all go through that stage. You just have to push past that feeling of stupidity, and that is when you will level up. So as you say, consistent practice really is the key to getting good at programming. If you have 2 hours per day and around 5 days a week to work at this, you can get to a really good level in 3 months. If you have more time, you can shorten that even more. But the most important thing is that consistency. Not doing it for 20 hours one day and then forgetting it and then doing it again next year. So if you can maintain the consistency, you can do it in 3 months. Absolutely. We build the course with the beginner in mind. So if you're a complete beginner, just start at day 1 and I'll guide you through everything from using which code editor or how to do all the basic things. But if you're an intermediate programmer, you can take the skills assessment, which will show you how far ahead you can skip. And if you're somebody who's an advanced programmer, you can simply just build the 100 projects, which we provide all the resources for. Well, to find this out, all you have to do is go onto a freelancing website, search for the languages and see how many jobs there are. From what I know and from what I've heard, JavaScript and Python are probably going to be your best bets. So some of our students go on to create simple web applications and acquire users quickly through something like AppSumo Marketplace. Other students will compete in competitions like Kaggle or hackathons to earn prize money. And the simplest way though is probably just to work as a freelancer on websites like Upwork.com. While I was working as a doctor, one of the hardest things and one of the most useful things is that we have night shifts. And to be humane, after a night shift, we normally get about 3 days off. And the first day is pretty much a goner. I can't do anything. But the second and third days though, is normally the time that I used to work on my programming projects or to learn new programming skills. And that's how I managed to do both, just by being motivated and squeezing in the time whenever I had it. There was a period of time where I did both doctoring and building a startup, but that was pretty crazy. So now I'm just focusing on one thing, and the way I think about it, I'm currently in the most creative era of my life, and I want to spend that time making things and creating things like the courses that you get to take. So I normally wake up around 8 and I like to get moving, so do some exercises, and lately I've been really into Tai Chi, so I don't know if it's just a reflection of my age, but that's what I do. And then I'll do some meditation, some journaling, have a light breakfast, and then get to work. So I normally have a large uninterrupted block where I do my most creative work and the most difficult work, and that's when all the notifications are off, phone is in airplane mode, and then I'll have lunch and go for a quick walk, listen to a podcast, and then do sort of easier tasks in the afternoon, like emailing and answering queries. And then I try to go to sleep before 10, although in my ideal world I would love to go to sleep at 9, but not quite there yet. So. There's no plans to release an entirely separate iOS 14 course, but I am looking to make some minor updates to the iOS 13 course. But even as it is, you should be able to do it with Big Sur and the new iOS updates. So you can expect some updates coming to that course later next year. This Python course took a year and a half to make, and it is meant to be very project heavy. I wanted you to get as much hands-on practice as possible while you're learning. So you're building 100 different projects, one each day. So we tried to manage your time as well, so that each day would last up to about 2 hours of learning and programming. And the idea is that by the end of the course, you become an independent developer and you're able to start building your own projects or apply for a job as a Python developer.